Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P-Fall. Thinking right out here in my lab. And yeah, I'm going old school. I'm back in my book. We do some Egyptian philosophy. I got to get my message out because I'm doing the blue book there. We talking about planes of consciousness. I want to bring my philosophical consciousness into the mix. Let's go. So we're going to talk about the elements of human consciousness and the personality, which is you. Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, bam, do you know you? We will when I'm through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be him. A person who knows not and know that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my eye be true. All right, let's get with the lesson because it's going to be quick and shouldn't take, but I got a page and a half of information. I got some more stuff to do. But this is right thinkers. Let's talk about P Funk's idea on the elements of human consciousness and the personality. A human being, we know, is a complex of many elements which together are referred to as the personality. Persona. That means what you projecting out to the people. So your personality. The personality may also, what's this? Your personality may also be referred to as, you ready? Your ego. That's the part of you that identifies with you, and that's who it is. That's what it is. You can't kill it. The idea to control it, but the ego has its own ways of doing things, and if you allow it to do what it wants to do, you're not going to be a happy camper. So that's one of the things you have to take care of for yourself personally. Why? The ego is personal. Is you. All of the elements. Self-improvement meaning controlling the ego. You can't improve yourself if the ego is in control of you. That's a concept. But all the elements of your personality emanate or originate from what we call the universal ocean of consciousness. That's the divine self. That's God's consciousness. God is spirit and consciousness. Those two things got to harmonize in the physical body for us to become what? God like in the flesh. You have to know God for yourself. And that's being what? Conscious of your higher self. So the ego, which edged God out, don't give a damn about the higher self. He thinks he's the higher self. See, we're going with that. The devil refused to adhere to God. That's the ego. Okay? He ain't going to adhere to what's right. You got to beat him into submission. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Some people need a good old fashioned take him out the shed and tax him. Okay? Beat the brakes off him. Okay? Back in the day, what y'all call gang jumping, if a family member did something to one of the family members, we going to get together and beat the brakes off of you. That's old school. That's family. We take care of our own. We defend and justify our own. Street justice. If you do something to a kid in my neighborhood, we're going to tear you a new one. Why? To deter anybody from doing that. That's how you keep the village safe from predators. Y'all got people molesting their nieces and all that. Man, God, get off there, get out of there. That's a whole another lesson. But that's ego. What selfish, perverted gains. That's all egoness. But the ego is the unit of identity in which you identify yourself with. But all it knows is what? Pleasures and things that it wants. It don't have no consideration, no empathy, compassion. None of those things do the ego have. So if you're an egoistic person, that's the quality that you're going to exhibit. And it is the idea. Excuse me. All right, damn it. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. The ego is a unit of identification. That's who you identify with. Carl Jung said it best. It's your id. Okay. And my man, Diop, Chief Diop, the neurologist, he said for the first 7 years, your environment construct your ego concept of what you environment. I get that. You're product of the environment. But you identify with yourself through the ego. It ain't the devil. It ain't Satan. Only when it goes against what? God, it becomes the devil. That becomes you. It is the idea. Watch this. The idea of self-concept, of individuality. What? You're a wave in the ocean of consciousness is opposed to the idea of the universality of the whole, being conscious of you being part of the whole ocean. When you realize you're the ocean, you have gained, like I said, it's time to get the cover from my hand. That's becoming conscious of who you are. Most of us think we just a little wave and just a little drop of the ocean. See, that's again ignorance. You don't know. So the triad of the mental experience, watch this, I love this. That's the basic factor of human existence. What you mean? It is this factor that sustains the ego. Wow. However, the triad is not the only factor that's operating in your human consciousness. What you mean? You got a consciousness of unconscious, you got subconscious, you got conscious, unconscious, and subconscious levels. We get to that in a minute. But just talking about the human consciousness. But now, in order to have a more complete and better understanding as to what the nature of the human consciousness, there needs to be a deeper study. You have to study and what of the elements that compose your human personality, the 3 stages of consciousness. I'll get to it in a minute. But the following is a diagram to assist in the understanding of the relationship between the different levels of consciousness. Oh, we're about to get good. We're starting out with what they call the primal ocean. That's the vast consciousness of God. That's where everything is there. But there's no Maya. There's no order. Everything is potential. Everything is chaotic. Everything is haphazard. So it's no order. The first thing Rod did when he came out of that, Maya, put this stuff together. Hold everything up. That's why you see me giving her. She represents balance and duality. But the ocean of consciousness is what we call pure, undifferentiated consciousness. That's God. That's God. He is all conscious and all spirit. Life and consciousness. That's all he represents. He ain't a human being. He don't give a damn about nothing. Why? It ain't a he. We give it the title he or she, but it's what makes everything possible. Once you have that understanding about God, now you have a better perspective. You got to study. You got to learn. Why? There's some things you need to know. Let's talk about it. The human ego, that's you, okay, is like a wave in the ocean again. But both the ocean and the wave, water, are both composed of the same constraints. The belief system, the spirit that's in us is God. That's what everybody needs to understand. We're not all conscious of that. We all here, spirit beings having human experience. Okay? But the person who made you, your mother and father, those are immediate gods. They the one that put you into existence. This God y'all created, that ain't the God that created you. Your mother and father, God and goddess, he and she. Excuse me, but I'm trying to make the point. Your mother is your goddess, your father's your God. What's the problem? Y'all said the same thing about Christ. Oh, those is your father. Okay, so you got to understand that the other God is the God for us all. The universal God. Come on now. They call it the ocean. Excuse me. But both, watch this, but because they are being elevated based on what? Their growth, which is the physical forms, and the names in which they have been assigned, the ocean versus the wave. Competition right there. Duality. There's the ocean, and part of the ocean is waves. So it's still the same thing. Some of us seem to miss that. I'm an individual. No, you're not. You're God having an individual experience for yourself. That's all that counts. I tell people, whatever going up here, that's all you. All you. Don't know, understand it. I don't hear the argument, debate. Whatever you conceive in your mind, that's all you. It don't mean that to nobody else. except you. So your dead relative, your dead mother, father, you creating that up. They're not talking to you. You make them manifest in your mind. Moving on, and they are viewed as what, being separate. Ding, 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 ding. Every human being should know that they are spirit beings having human spirit. Not, I'm just a human being. I'm not God. That's it. That's ignorance. Okay, but even they're saying the wave leave it separate from the ocean and the distinct entities. Similarly, you have the human soul, and it is focused on what? Cosmic consciousness. It needs to know. It needs to know. It don't. Your job is to get the conscious. So what? Now it can go back home. And a wave of consciousness that arises from the ocean of consciousness. Again, that's still us. That's the mindset. Just as the wave is essentially the ocean, come on now, so too the seemingly individual soul is in reality the same as the universal soul. I'm loving this because it's making sense. I ain't got to do nothing. I'm just going to read it. All you got to do is understand it, listen, interpret, and I'm taking it right there. So essentially, what? They are one and the same. I tell you, knowledge of self, to know you and God are one and the same, that's my job, to get you to make that connection for yourself. I can tell you to the cows come in, but until you experience it, it means nothing to you. It means nothing to me. Why? I got it. I'm doing it. You got to have that for yourself. I'm just here to help. Let me do my job. And what's this? Now, let's talk about the quick breakdown of egoism, which shows you duality. Why? The ego thinks it's in control. It wants to be in control. And it will fight tooth and nail to be in control. But if you can defeat it, you can conquer it, you can put it under your control, it's the best service you can have. Everybody want what? The right-hand man. The ego is God's right-hand man. Y'all call him Christ. The ego, when he's fighting against the Apophis, only one fighting is the ego. He's the honey badger of the spiritual world, as I call him. But let's talk right quick. You got the ego, which represents duality. You got good and evil, right and wrong, night and day. But separation from the self and attachment to what? An illusion, the delusions of your egoistic personality. They've got this figured out, excuse me. I've been reading that book of wisdom so long, I forgot my own stuff. This is the good stuff here. Let me wrap it up for you. Now, let's deal with this. Let's see the stuff. What is that? Okay, ego present. The human soul, which is the individual, you, being unaware, ignorant of yourself, the universal God. Those who claim they believe in God, they're really unaware. When you are aware of God, you don't believe in him, you know him. Okay, why? You become one with him. That's what we're trying to tell you. God ain't outside you. You ain't got to, I got to find God. I got to get to God. No, you got to recognize God. You got to wake up and realize you are God. And watch this. They're unaware of the universal soul. And they see their self as being what? Separate, finite, and limited. Human. We are spirit beings. We're divine spirit beings having human spirits. And we are ignorant to the divine self. And we think we're just human. So we're cutting ourselves short, pretty much, playing ourselves out. But it is only in touch. The ego is only in touch with what? It's wave-like existence. The five things that it can sense from the physical body. And the existence of other waves around it. Competing, competition. Got to be bigger, got to get more, got to do this. Now, because it is ignorant of its deeper essence, true self, there you go, and the deeper essence of all the other waves, this universal soul, the ocean that everybody's part of, so now it becomes attached to what? To its ignorant delusion and misunderstanding of itself, as well as its what? Self-concept of being an individual in the world of more individuals. It's a fight. You got to put up your dues. It's the world. It's what the rat race. Got to get it. Got to get mine. Got to get mine. So everybody's on their grind. Okay, that's what they set you up for. That's what they get you in line for. Now let's talk about the triad. We went from the single to the dual. Now the triad, the seer, the seeing, and the instrument of sight, and the perception. They also. This is the realm of what? Waking, dream and dreamless state of what? Consciousness. When you're woke, you're conscious. When you're dreaming, you're subconscious. No, so when you're dreaming, you're unconscious. And you go into the deep dream, you become your subconscious. What we got layers for, I get that in 1 second. But they can break it down right quick with this one. With ego consciousness, that's me, I. Right there, not am, just I. By yourself, you alone. But that's the ego thinks it's Lord, because God. Okay. And it operates through what? Your personality, which is what? Your mind, your senses, the 5 senses, and the feelings that you emote from the heart, and the desires that the ego wants to what? Pleasure itself or get for the what? Pleasures of the flesh, monetary things, whatever it is, material, that's what the ego strives for, etc. But since the ego consciousness is limited, the individual, your individual soul can never experience what we call hotep, peace, or bliss, okay, or ecstasy and happiness. Why? While identifying itself with its ego conscious self. Ego can't do nothing for you, man. It can't do nothing for you. That's what the old phrase is. But you, the individual, your individual soul, is now having to experience ocean like unlimited bliss, desires to what? To rediscover that bliss. We come into the world, babies are bliss. They got no care, no worry, they got none of that. They are pure. Okay? So it begins to what? Search for ways to what? Regain that experience, that feeling. Like getting high, take a drug to reach that level. Cloud 9, you just don't worry about nothing. You just, yeah, man, I'm cool. I watched my brothers shoot heroin, and all they did was lay back and not my thing. Okay, I appreciate them, but that's not my thing. But having been tainted, your consciousness with the ego, with this ignorance of what ego is, boy, I love this. Now it does not be discovered. It cannot be discovering its true nature. Why? It ain't looking. It's happy being itself. As I said, some people comfortable being ignorant. Some people comfortable with having things their way in the material world. Okay, understand that. But now, through the ego personality, that same ego personality is what? Held as the reality above all else. You think this is it? And when he was dying, scared to death, imminent death, yeah, that make a person reflect and go, and all he did beat himself up. Why? All the stuff that you did comes back. We call it hellhounds. That's what you're going. You're going to be tormented for the rest of your days. Okay, moving on. Conceptually, I don't know what happens in there. Don't know. But all thoughts and your feelings are now directed toward fulfilling what one's egoistic whims of your personality, pleasures, and things that you want to have it on, thinking that these will what all lead to peace and happiness. We all fall for the hook, line, and sinker. And most of them, they get there, figure out, I was duped. They stuck me. The light going ding, what, sucker? They got you. And every now and then, you're going to have that moment, but your job is to what? Make them less. Okay? Don't get caught out there with a whole bunch of learn as you go. Don't let it happen again. But the human personality, the ego, is in effect of what? The error. Humans, we are prone for error. God gives us that we mess up every time. We get everything and we mess it up. We're prone to error. Why? We're not perfect thinking beings. That's why. And we're prone to error. And this is reference, your sources were not found. The error in humans are numberable and too many to count. Why? That's what we do. But when you have your mental experience, and your mental experience is only based on what? Subject, object, and the interaction between the two. Two opposites, now they got to come together. That's the interaction. That's the triad. Male, female, come together, offspring. Okay? Male, get together, gay. Women get together, porn star, porn movie. Man and woman create life. The other way, no. Moving on. However, since your ego personality is transitory and is limited and mostly weak, why? It's a bully, like Goliath. Knock him on his butt and he'll acquiesce to you. See, most bullies punch you in the face. You got their attention now. Okay, aggressive. Take it to them. Okay, don't backward. Well, that's coming up a punk with somebody who wouldn't defend himself. If somebody came up on me, you got to bring yours to get mine. I ain't got no problem with that. So fear fighting was never a problem with me. Okay, but the search for what your true self, your true happiness, and peace in the human life becomes now frustration, painful experience. Why? And intermixed with a few brief periods of what? Relief and relaxation, pleasures, but never true peace and happiness. That says it right there. Your ego will never be satisfied. It won't get you to be your best self. So why you let it lead you down the road of destruction? That's called self-destruction. Death by installments, as my master would say. Things you do that don't are not good for you, you killing yourself slowly. That makes a lot of sense to me. All right, next lesson is going to be the levels of the mind. Ooh-wee. Yeah, we back home now. I'll be right back. Right thinkers and closing. May you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus that date. So I never know my right thinkers who now understand the elements of human consciousness and the personality have passed away. I'll be right back.